What up, peeps? This is Get With It Sports, place where you get your sports the way you want it. I'm Glass.
And I'm Brandon.
The best tag team tandem out here in sports talk. About to give you another episode of the 2 Cent Deposit on Sports. This is the NBA Finals Special Edition, where we just talk about NBA Finals. We're going to give our 2 cents on the topic. First off, we want to thank you for listening to us while you're on the go. If you haven't already, go ahead and download the Spreaker app and search for Get With It Sports Media. While you're at it, click the heart button to give us a like. It is much appreciated. And click the follow button so you can be alerted to all the shows that we have here at Get With It Sports Media. Without further ado, before we move on, we ain't even a special guest. I know I tweeted that we're going to have a special guest on here, but he ain't a special guest. He's a friend of the show. He's past being a special guest. He can go into the refrigerator, get his drink, kick his feet up on the – no, you can't kick your feet up on the couch. You put it on the coffee table, bro. But anyway, friend of the show, go listen to the Twitter name and what he's known by. Because even though he act like an idiot every now and then, he got much sports knowledge and everything. Straight out of New York, our homie, Ezra.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. It's been a while. It feels like I've been having my foot up on the coffee table for a while. Haven't been on YouTube streaming for a while, but I'm making my way back.
I hear you, man. I know you've been missing from the sports game. I figured we just go ahead and get you warmed up because we're going to be pulling you out every now and then, bro.
Thank you.
All right, man. Of course, we now got the NBA Finals. We got the two teams everybody been waiting for since last year at the end of the last year Finals. We got the Golden State Warriors. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers. We got the rubber match. Golden State won 2 years ago. Last year, Cavaliers won. I don't want to hear no excuses. Everybody healthy this year. So like I said, the matchup, the Golden State Warriors ran through the Western Conference without losing the game, 12-0. Cavaliers almost had a perfect record going through the Eastern Division. They lost one game to the Boston Celtics. My question to you guys is, number one, since we all knew this was going to happen, did it kind of like take the luster off the NBA Finals? And did anybody watch the NBA, the playoffs going up to the Finals? Does it make it irrelevant to watch the regular season, let alone the playoffs? I'm gonna ask you, since you the friend of the show, Ez, go ahead and go first, man.
How about this? I took Kevin Durant's advice a long time ago. If I don't like it, don't watch it. And to be honest, this is the least amount of basketball I watched and probably in my lifetime. Okay. Now, it may sound that's a negative, which it is overall for the NBA, for the business of the NBA, for the TV networks, etc. You know, it brought me back to the 90s in a sense. I remember as a kid in the 90s, my stepfather would say, man, who do you think is going – I was like, the Bulls are going to be in the finals. They're going to win it again this year. And that took it away from me as a kid. Like, I already knew who was going to win. But at least with this, with the Cavs and Warriors, you know, this year, because last year I wasn't complaining so much because we had a great playoffs last year with the Thunder almost stealing it away from the Warriors. But this year, it's like – I do want to say we had the two best teams. We had these two, you know, probably all-time, especially the Warriors could be an all-time team, all-time roster, and hopefully the finals make up for the rest of the basketball season. And to be honest, it does make it irrelevant. But we're here, and this is the pinnacle, and we want to see great basketball, all-time great teams. That's what we remember, okay? We remember the Bulls, remember the 80 Celtics, the 80, you know, Lakers. We don't talk about the Rockets too much. We don't talk about, you know, the Pistons too much in the early 2000s. You know, that was a big shocking finals, but we talk about the all-time teams. And these two teams could be that. So, in the end, I'll be happy as a basketball fan, but for the regular season, the playoffs, it was trash, and I did not watch Kevin Durant. And I think he was right about that. I'm not mocking Kevin Durant. You don't like it, don't watch it. But guess what? That's going to force the NBA to make changes to their system if people start moving their eyeballs away.
Mm-hmm. Brandon?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. You know, it was a ton of blowout games. You know, this playoffs, and no, I didn't. I'm like him, Ezra. I didn't watch all the playoff games, not because hell, I was at work most of the time. I mean, even when I was home, I didn't watch some of them because hell, by the time I turned, I mean, I literally watched 2 Cavs games where they was up by 40 points.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, come on now. So that's ridiculous. And yeah, if you don't like it, don't watch it. But you know, I watched it because I like the sport, and you know, I just want to see Durant or LeBron do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and I think that's what most fans just end up doing. You know, getting themselves geared up for the finals by just watching the blowouts. You know, or whatever. So yeah, I agree with Ezra totally.
All right, I'm gonna have to agree with all three, both of y'all. Number one, because I started watching the games, and then by halftime, we knew the outcome was gonna be for each game. It was blowing them out. Maybe 2-3 games from the Washington-Boston series that caught my attention all the way through. Other than that, I'm taking a nap. I gotta get ready for work, so I ain't even trying to watch a blowout when I could be sitting here watching the back of my eyelids. I'd rather watch the back of my eyelids than watch the game. Like I said, I think for the simple fact that we knew there was 2 super teams. We knew how the end result was going to be. And like I said, with all the blowouts, that hurt the product, the NBA playoffs. Do I agree with super teams? Do you need them? Yeah, I guess you do need them. But you got to – some people it's hurting the game. I'm thinking – you got them 2 super teams that you have, and you want to go after them. If you a team like the Boston Celtics or the Washington Wizards, you want to be built to go after them super teams because people went after the Chicago Bulls, people went after the Lakers, teams went after the old Boston Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Until you finally get them and you feel accomplished. I think right now, instead of like in the past, you had your super teams. Then you got them teams right up under there where they need that couple of pieces or that right momentum to beat them. Now you got the super teams, and everybody else is like way down here. And then listening to Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, they seem defeated before they even go into games. What was it, Game 5, Game 6? When they saying, no, if we had LeBron James, we will win. Man, dog, you got the wrong mentality. You got to go at. You're like, man, bump this. I want to go after him. Kevin Durant. He went over to the other side. I got that, and me and Larry, we talked about that a couple of episodes ago. Like, no, he was a free. I ain't mad at him. I wish he would have went somewhere else, but you were a free agent. You decided where you wanted to go. I'm cool with it. Only people that's mad. Everybody's mad, but the Golden State Warriors. You know,
right.
But it's more than just the 2 super teams. You got these players during the regular season want to take games off. And people are getting upset because the fans are getting upset with that. And I think that adds on to it. We know how the playoffs was going to turn out. Yeah, it turned people off, but I believe it's almost like cyclical. It's going to come back around where everything going to even out. Because Golden State ain't going to be able to have money to pay all these players. So they're going to have to get rid of them. Same thing with Cavaliers. I think the Cavaliers – luxury tax has got to be damn near $100-something million. They ain't gonna be able to hold on to these players either. So, like I said, it's gonna run maybe 2 more years, but then it's gonna be back the same. Do y'all agree?
Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, they can't pay all these players, you know. And unlike like you was mentioning earlier, the players they jump from team to team so much you can't really. You know, like back in the 90s or whatever, it was unheard of for, a Patrick Ewing to go to Detroit, to try to beat the Bulls or, a Barkley to go, he did go from Philly to Phoenix, but, I mean, he wasn't going nowhere else, to try to beat the Bulls or Jordan going to Detroit, to win a championship or Lakers, switching teams like that. So, but now, like Durant moving, LeBron and moved twice already, win championships or whatever. It's just the league is just so different now. And yeah, it's gonna come back in the cycle. Whereas these two top teams, they'll fall back to the pack, and now you got the up and coming teams. I still think Boston the up and coming team. You know, they're gonna get the picks, they're gonna get the players. Washington, same thing. You know, so it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back that way.
You know, it just brought up an interesting point talking about, you know, everybody hating on the super teams and, you know, it doesn't create parity. If you think about the, you know, our glory days, everybody talks about the 80s, 90s and stuff. It was all big city teams winning. Celtics, Lakers, Chicago, Knicks. You know, Knicks didn't win anything, but you know what I mean? There's big city markets.
Yeah, right.
But now that we got the Golden State Warriors, the Cleveland Cavaliers, you know, Miami Heat winning championships, you know, San Antonio Spurs is like, come on, man, we got to, you know, people are complaining. Right. You know, if it wasn't free agency, if people wasn't moving around, maybe some of these small market teams that I just mentioned that won championships wouldn't get these players joining up to each other. So how about we think about these small market teams that actually won and developed and created these big threes? And let's be honest, Miami Heat is not the first big three in this new era. It was the Boston Celtics with Kevin Garnett, you know, Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. Right. But people seem to forget that. I don't remember Kevin Garnett getting killed. Everybody was like, I remember like, oh, you know what? You know, Kevin Garnett was very loyal to the Timberwolves, so you know, it took him a lot to go to the Celtics. I remember him getting big time praise. LeBron leaves, you know, Cleveland, go to Miami. We already know how that turned out, and now we already know how it's turning out for Kevin Durant. But people are hypocrites. I've always say that. So it is what it is. Right. You know, but overall, I have no problem with it is. I think this year is just hopefully it's isolated. You know, because last year's playoffs, I had no problem. Like I said, the Thunder came out of nowhere, and you know, that's why people are harping on Kevin Durant because he's this close from dethroning the Warriors. And we already know what happened in these playoffs. The Spurs, the real only challenge to the Warriors, you know, Kawhi Leonard got hurt in the second game. And, I mean, the first game, right, after they were up by 27 points in the third quarter. I was actually watching some of that game at work. So I was like, wow, look at this. And then, you know, that changed the whole series right there. Right. So I'm not going to go like these other sports pundits saying, oh, this needs to be a long-term fix and something needs to change. This year was trash overall. But I'm not going to say something needs to change. Some years, some leagues, you know, it happens to every sport. Some years is going to be trash. It's just the way it is. There's just dominant teams out there. You know, I remember people complaining about the Yankees crushing the competition years ago. And I don't remember, and speak about resting, I don't remember people complaining about baseball players taking days off. Baseball players take days off all the time, okay? All double headers, people are like, you know, he played the first game. Yeah, he can take the second game off. You know, he needs to rest. Right. And then like Kevin Durant said, or I think Kevin Durant also said it, they only complain about the superstars taking days off. No one cares if anybody else takes a day off, but LeBron takes a day off, people care. I don't care. Because if he was on my team, on my Nets, bro, take a day off or two. Yeah, I don't got no problem. It's about the chip. Right. It's about the championship. Cleveland should only care about Cleveland. It's the way it is.
I hear you. You know what? It's like simple fact, like everybody's saying, you know what? I hear what the fans saying, but coaches trying to keep their jobs and owners trying to pay the players to play on the field when they're supposed to be playing, when it's crunch time, you know, so it is what it is.
And the only way to change it, I'll go back to Kevin Durant. You don't like it, don't watch it. That's the only thing anything's going to change. If the money starts getting a little low in their pockets, that's when the change comes.
Now I hear that they talking about this is going to be the most watched NBA Finals in history. Do y'all agree with that? I agree with it because we've been waiting so long we've been waiting damn near a month of worthless playoffs to get to these two super teams. And you know the narrative is Kevin Durant against LeBron James. Golden State Warriors got payback for the Cavaliers for the so-called game, the finals that they stole, the championship that they stole last year. So it's like everybody building this up. Something tells me, this is my opinion, this is gonna be like the Floyd Mayweather Pacquiao fight. Is it hyped up? And I'm not gonna say my picks right now. It's only gonna last maybe 5-6 games. What you guys think? You think it's gonna live up to the hype?
I don't. I think it's going 5 games.
Yes.
Oh man,
It's gonna live up to the hype.
lately, a lot of people have been saying that the last couple of days. Like, I think it's going to be done in 5. I'm gonna go with the hype because last year's finals, we can have no complaints. That was a great finals, up and down, and it went to Game 7. It was just insane. I know the Warriors added the second best player in the league, and they probably got the third best player in the league in Steph Curry. People seem to forget he was probably the second best last year. Everybody, it was insane how that was an all-time season last year, but he's still Steph Curry. But I'm gonna go with the hype. Cleveland looks like they're locked in right now. LeBron James is the best player. He's having an insane playoffs. I'm gonna go with the hype. I feel like it could be a competitive 6 games though. You don't have to go 7 for me to be okay. This, it's a successful series. As long as those 6 games are competitive, I'll be happy.
Right, and I think that's what most people want. Really, just want the competitive. Whether they go 5 or 6 games, they'll take a couple overtime games. They'll take last second shot games, as long as it's competitive. Yeah, right. I think.
We almost had a scare. Was it Game 5? Boston and the Cavaliers when Kyrie Irving turned his ankle. I'm sitting here throwing my hands. I'm like, oh, y'all couldn't make it to the finals? I'm like, man, go ahead and pull out this bubble wrap, man. Make sure this food don't ever leave his room, man. But everybody's healthy. And let's not prolong this anymore. Let's go ahead and give our picks of who we think is going to win the NBA Finals. I will go first. Number 1. It's going to be, I think the 2 teams that we waited for matched up. They might match up pretty nice. I think it's going to be coach play. And I do it with that. All right, if I said coach play, we don't even know if Stephen Kerr going to be able to come back. And that's a straight minus on the.
Yeah, Mike Brown makes me nervous.
I know, right? But then again, I believe Tyronn Lue, and I tweeted this during the Cavaliers Celtics game, that I think Brad Stevens outcoached Lue and almost exposed them. Only reason Lue made it out because he had the best player in the league on his team. That's just my opinion. So coaching, if Steve Kerr is still out, to me, it's almost even. Of course, we know, just like Ezra said, Cavaliers got the number 1 player in the league, but the Golden State Warriors got the number 2 player. The lineups almost matched up. Now I got a problem with JaVale McGee and Zaza Pachulia sticking Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love. That's kind of a mixed match to me with the plus on the Cavaliers side, because if Tristan Thompson come up ahead and become a monster on the boards and JaVale McGee doesn't do anything, that's going to be a problem. I don't know I think the bench is going to be accountable for, and I give it to Golden State because I believe Andre Iguodala got to come in and help stick LeBron James every now and then, give Kevin Durant a break. Sean Livingston, that's going to be my X factor, because when he comes in, he kind of like bring in some energy when he comes in with his scoring and his defense. Oh, man, with the dust settled, I've been sticking with this from what I've seen all playoffs. What was that? Anyway, stick with all playoffs. I'm going to have to give the edge to the Golden State Warriors. They got, like I said, Cavaliers got the best player in the league, but the Warriors got multiple players, MVP style players on their starting squad, and they got quality players coming off their bench. If it was like a 1 game, that would be up in the air. But I believe since it's a 7-game series, it's going to be stretched out. LeBron got to come with the Cavaliers got to come with the A game every game to match up with the Golden State Warriors. So right now, right here on Get With It Sports 2-cent deposit, I'm going to say Golden State Warriors in 5.
I go along with that. I'm going to go to State in 5 for the simple fact that it's just too many people for Cleveland to try to guard every night. You know, every game night. And if like you said, Cleveland got to come with their A game every night. LeBron got to show up every night.
Yes.
They can have a night when Curry not Curry and still win. They can have a night when Durant not Durant and still win. You know, Cleveland can't have a night when LeBron ain't LeBron and still win. They can't do it. For on the offensive side, and you know, I really can't tell how improved they were defensively against Boston because Boston showed no heart in that series. But I think that's an edge for Golden State because Cleveland, really all season, they haven't been one of the top defensive teams anyway, you know, and they're not going to all of a sudden just start playing defense, you know, because it's the finals. You know, they are what they are. You know, they get a couple turnovers or whatever, but they don't scare you on the defensive side of the ball. And so that's why I'm going with Golden State because it's just too many guys from 1 through 10. I know it's 11 on the team, but from 1 through 10, they have to watch for every single night, and they just don't bring it defensively enough to shut Golden State down like that. So Golden State for me.
Man, and to bark on Brandon's point, I feel like if the Cavs do have a chance, Tristan Thompson has to, you know, he was big last year in the finals. He has to come up big again with his defensive presence and the board. You can't give the Warriors, you know, second opportunities, offensive glass, and he's, you know, and he could guard multiple positions. So the thing is, the Warriors have a guy like that too, and his name is Draymond Green, and he can stretch the court spacing. You know, the whole. You know, we already know what the Warriors could do on offense. Their spacing, their three-point shooting is incredible. But so has the Cavaliers this year. You know, Kevin Love, he's having a much better year this year than he did last year. So he's another guy that you can add to the fold. He's shooting an incredible, I think, 45% this playoffs, 44%. Yeah, 45%. Excuse me, 17 points, 10 rebounds. Kevin Love, we know he's a liability on defense, and Draymond Green they may wash each other out, but I think Tristan Thompson for the Cavs and Draymond Green for the Warriors are the two big X factors. But Sean Livingston too, I think he could have a big series because the backup guards for the Cavs, I don't think can handle or match up well with Sean Livingston. But I don't want to, man. The Cavs are more, I just don't want to. You know what? I'm usually bad at picking teams, but I'm also leaning towards the Warriors in 6, just because you know they added Kevin Durant, probably the most efficient scorer of all time. This man is averaging 25 points on the season on 16 shots. Okay, this Kevin Durant, and I think he's got to have it. He's got to have it. If he doesn't win it, he's already getting, you know, the BS thrown at him this year. If he doesn't
might as well win it, right?
He's for his legacy, even though, you know, I hope players don't think about legacies, but for his legacy and for him to go forward and not be slammed around, he's got to win, and I think he will. I think he's going to will his team this year if he's got to. I hope it's not a 5-game series like you guys are thinking. But this is an all-time roster right here. And I guess if the Cavaliers do pull it out of their pocket, you know, this will give more – even though I'm not into the GOAT conversations anymore, I gave that up about Michael Jordan, LeBron James, even though I don't even think Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time. But whatever, I'm not getting on there. I'm not in those conversations anymore. That's going to give him his legacy a lot of ammunition for the claim for the throne, right? If he takes down this all-time team. But, you know, but we got to be happy. The Cavaliers are playing fantastic basketball. Obviously, the Warriors too. And their 3 guys are playing great. And but Kyrie Irving, he cooked them last year too. I think it's going to be a close series. If the Cavs win, I don't think it's a shock. To me, it's not a shock.
Okay.
You know, it might be. I don't even consider it a surprise either.
If the Cavs win, it'll be a shock to me.
It'll be a shock to you. I hear you. You know, everybody, you know, because you look at that Warriors roster, it's like, man, like I said, they already have the second best, third best. They probably have four. If you can make it argue, they have 4 top 10 players.
Right.
Easy. Right.
In the league. 4 top 10 players. You know, Cavs have maybe 2. Maybe I don't know if you want a Kyrie Irving in there. I don't know. I don't know if I'll put Kyrie Irving in there. Maybe. Okay. Maybe I'll put him in there. But you can say 2. And Kevin Love, he's no slouch. You can put maybe top. You know, he's a top 15 player in this league. Remember, before he got to the Cavs, everybody was talking about him being a top 5, top 7 player in this.
Yeah.
You know, I was never on that train, but a lot of people was. So I don't think it'll be a shock, and I'm excited for this. This is the first time this year I'm actually excited. I'm a Nets guy, so I had nothing to be excited about my team.
I wasn't gonna mention that, but since you put it out there,
I have that. I don't have nothing excited about my draft, my team, nothing. Okay,
you don't have a draft. You gave it up to the Boston.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I mean,
but it's just it's gonna be. I think it's gonna set an all-time record for threes, though. I'll tell you that.
Exactly. You know what? Okay, before we move on, you did say Warriors in what, 6?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Warriors in 6, man. I think Kevin Durant. I think he's gonna take it. He's got to take it. I feel like if he doesn't, it's gonna be a big problem, man.
Right. You know, this I got 2 points to say on this. Number one, Klay Thompson has not showed up in the playoffs yet.
No.
He's been like non-existent. Sub tells me he gonna be like ticked off because he mad because they lost that 3-1 lead last year and lost it to this team. One of these games, he's gonna do one of them 50-point, 60-point nights. Just gonna go off. Number one. Number two. Let's not forget.
But J.R. Smith hasn't done much this playoffs either, hasn't he?
Come on, you can't mess Klay Thompson and J.R. Come on, Nez.
Oh, I know they're not the same player, but I'm saying if
I got you.
If the Cavs want to do something, J.R. Smith's got to step up himself.
He has to go up, yeah.
Especially against Klay Thompson.
Right. Number two, Cavaliers during the season, a little during the playoffs, was known to have one of the worst defenses out there. You can't go up against the Warriors playing lackadaisical on defense. And then let's not forget, the Golden State Warriors are number one in defensive efficiency and number one in offensive efficiency. And like they got this chip on their shoulder because they think they should have won last year. They're going to be hard off to go get this thing and tell the Cavaliers, I need that back.
Right.
So that's why I'm thinking it's going to be 5, like maybe 6. I'm going to go with 5, man. But if the Cavaliers steal one of these first 2 games, it's going to be very interesting.
I know it's early to predict, but do you think there's going to be a 4th matchup next year?
It could be. It could. Like I told you before, everything is cyclical, but the way they matched up now, I don't know whose contract is up this year, but I think
does that bother you guys? That let's say if they do match up for the 4th year in a row, does that bother you guys?
That don't bother us, but it might bother the media, it bother the fans. What about you, Brandon?
It bothers me that my team ain't in it. I mean, outside of that, I mean, you want to see good basketball, so yeah, I think it'll bother me a little bit because I think the other teams, saying from East Washington and Boston, I think they could have played a whole lot better. I think they could have made it more interesting for Cleveland getting to the finals. And then out in the West, now the West is just tricky. I don't know about the West because, you know, the Clippers, they never stay healthy enough to get no further than they are. Houston is intriguing. You know, they may you know, show up. So it's some teams in the West that can definitely challenge Golden State, you know, at least getting to the finals. You know, all it takes is one injury to any team, you know, and that can change the dynamic of everything, you know. So
all I care about is quality of basketball. I just want to see competitive series. And I don't care if it's the same matchup. I really don't. Like I said, if we do, we can say 20 years from now, man, we saw those 4 straight finals between these 2 juggernauts Like we talk about the 90s Bulls and these others. No, like I said, no one complained about the Celtics and Lakers going at it basically every year in the 80s. Everybody celebrated it. And, 10 years from now, we're probably going to celebrate this. But we want to see some competitiveness in the playoffs. Right. We want to see some push. Yeah. Like I said, last year, when you saw the Thunder push the Warriors, we was like, wow, such and such. But in the end, we thought about, we saw that finals. It was an incredible finals. It overtook that. So that's what I hope for. But I wouldn't complain if it's competitive basketball.
And to answer your question, to add to your question is, will we see the same matchup next year? Yeah, I think we can, but I'm not going to put nothing past Boston. They got a treasure chest full of opportunities right now. They got the number 1 pick this year. They could go ahead and get
another number 1 pick next year. I know.
Right. They could trade the number 1. I'm sorry, yes. They could trade the number 1 pick. I've heard rumors they could trade the number 1 pick and try to go after. I would trade the number 1 pick to go after what's his name? New Orleans Pelicans.
Anthony or Cousins.
I'm sorry, DeMarcus Cousins. Right. Go after Cousins. They go after Gordon Hayward. They go after. I can't see Paul George going there. I think he got his mind set for the Lakers, which is cool with me. Mm-hmm. Even though I do hate the Lakers, I've made it known. But anyway,
they may pick to Chicago.
Exactly. So they got moves that they can make to make themselves better. I've always thought that, like I told me and Brandon had an episode episode 2 ago where I said I believe Danny Ainge's been trying to stockpile all this stuff, waiting for LeBron James to get old. That might not work because he might not decrease in talent for the next 3 years.
So talking about the offseason a little, I don't think the Warriors should. The Celtics should take this guy number 1 because even if you add Gordon Hayward or Paul George, you're not messing with the Cavs currently constructed. Okay, I know you got a deep team and it's you got Isaiah Thomas, but Isaiah Thomas, Gordon Hayward, or Paul George with Al Horford really taking down the Cavs? Do we really believe that? Hell no. Okay, it might be blowouts, but they're not taking down the Cavs. Mm-hmm. Maybe, like you said, maybe some DeMarcus. Now, if you're talking about DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis, if they could get a player like that, mm-hmm. then maybe add, maybe a Paul George to that mix, maybe we could get a little interesting. But the Cavs are set up nicely right now today for next year too, against the East.
Okay.
Because if you think about the two best, the Celtics and let's say the Wizards, even the Wizards, they got no bench, and Brandon Beal's hurt half the time, mm-hmm. and they're probably going to lose their third scorer now. Was Otis Porter?
Otis Porter, yeah.
Yeah, they're probably going to lose him to free agency this year. I heard my Nets might give him a max deal. Stupid as he continues. Whatever. That's what I read. But
right.
It's looking nicely for them.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
Unless maybe it depends. Maybe Carmelo Anthony. Maybe he ends up somewhere mm-hmm. that could change the dynamic of a team. Maybe let's say the Rockets or the Clippers, or he's got to be a competitive team.
Right.
So maybe the Celtics, which I doubt. I think the Celtics will go after him unless it's a low. Phil Jackson's just giving him away, which I would imagine he would.
Right.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, we're running out of time, so let's go ahead and close shop. We want to thank you guys for going ahead and listening to us at the 2 Cent Deposit on Sports podcast. Once again, while you're here, click the follow button so you can be alerted to all the new episodes we have here at Get With It Sports Media. You can find us on Twitter. You can find me at Get With It Sports, my partner in crime here at LEB412. Read our posts on our blog page at GetWithItSports.wordpress.com. Follow us on Facebook /GetWithItSports, or contact us via email at GetWithItSports2@gmail.com. And once again, me and Brandon want to thank our friends of the show, Ezra here, for coming on and giving us the sports knowledge here. Bro, go ahead and plug yourself over.
First of all, I appreciate you guys, and I want to give a shout out to, Memorial Day yesterday, to all the veterans and all the service people out there in the world. My niece, My best friends are in the military, so, special shout out. Hey, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to talk crap on Zoom and YouTube. But you can follow me at Idiot Ezra. I talk sports, I talk movies, I talk a bunch of crap.
Hey, talk
it is
ish. Right, let them know you talk ish too, bro.
That's how it is, That's how I am, hopefully I'll be back in the streaming fold starting next month again, because I do miss the game. I do miss interacting with you guys, arguing with you guys, and with football off season, entrenched in training camp, that's gonna be gearing up soon after these finals, and my Jets, gotta talk about my Jets because 2019 we taking over.
Oh yeah, I remember you said that. Okay,
2019.
Look at Brandon.
He Brandon like, yeah.
He a Jets fan too, so
Hey, I'm a Jets fan. I like the Jets.
We gotta wait 2 more years because they ain't gonna happen.
I'm waiting on.
Once again, thanks, Ezra, for coming on the show. Doors always open for you to come up in here. And once again, people, I know his Twitter handle says Idiot Ezra. He ain't an idiot, man. He knows
Believe the hype, I am.
Anyway, Get With It Sports, place where you get your sports with a little swag. We up out of here. Be good, be safe, get with it. Peace.